A holy man had an advertisement inserted in the Lahore Tribune, which was at that time the most widely circulated newspaper in undivided northern India. The advertisement ran thus: Wanted a man who is prepared to exchange his life rupees 10 lakhs for rupees 10 lakhs. Those interested, please contact box number 115, care of the Tribune, Lahore. The advertisement appeared on three different occasions. As you may imagine, 10 lakhs was not small sum in those days. Perhaps it would be an equivalent of 10 million today. The holy man repeated the advertisement on three different days, but he did not get a single response, not even an inquiry. No one was prepared to exchange his life for any amount of money. Life is the most precious possession of man. That is why no one wants to give up life. Everyone clings to life. This was the realization that came to Prince Siddhartha when he became Gautama Buddha. We all know the moving story of this great one who renounced his palace and its pleasure and donned the garb of a mendicant to enter the Tapovan, a forest of meditation. After intense spiritual came to him in a vision, he beheld that the root of all sorrow, the root of all suffering, the root of man's agony, pain, and anguish was this clinging to life. Tanaha, as he called it. Everyone clings to life. No one is prepared to give up life easily, and yet life becomes truly worthwhile, truly worth living only when it is happily, healthy, and harmonious. If life is not healthy, it becomes a burden. If life is not happy, it becomes a drudgery. If life is not harmonious, it becomes a source of great sorrow. There was an old woman who once came to meet the Siddhartha. She was always miserable. She had much to be bitter about. She had contracted a loathsome skin disease, and her own people had thrown her out of the house. She was forced to live out on the streets. Indeed, even the homeless folk out of on the streets shunned her company. When she came to see the Siddhartha, she cried bitterly, "When will death come to release me? When will death liberate me from this life of sorrow and suffering? Uh, I, I long for death. I beg death to come and take me." I Siddhartha wanted to make this woman realize that she did not really mean what she said. He brought a packet of harmless glucose powder or something mixed with turmeric viral in a vial and gave to her. "Mother, here is something to help you," he said to her. "Just swallow this powder, and it, if it be God's will, you will be dead within an hour or two." She was taken aback. She shrank away from touching the pocket. She hastily replied, "I will get back you very soon. Right now, there are no one or two urgent matters that I have to attend to. I shall settle them and then come back to take the powder from you. Need I tell you to?" Thus, she never returned. Everyone wants to live. No one is prepared to die. Those who are not happy or healthy, do not want to give up life. But as I said earlier, Only a happy, healthy, and harmonious life is worth living. Do you have that dynamic energy in your life? Is your life truly whole and complete as you just fractionally alive, just existing? I am afraid so many of us are just existing. We are not living as our life ought to be lived. That dynamic element, that special quality is absent from our lives. Have, have you ever asked yourself the question, what am I? Many of us identify ourselves with our bodies. Let me recall for you the words of Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna says, the Lord to his dear devoted, remember, you are not the body. The body is but a garment you have worn. You are something else. You are the water of the garment. You are the wearer of the garment, but you identify yourself with your body, your physical form, and this is the root of all sin. Man, as our ancient scriptures have taught us, is a composite of body, mind, and soul. This is an essence is the Eastern concept of being. Man is essentially a soul who has worn a body and brought with himself the equipment of the mind to be able to do his work on his earth. However, the Western view is different. In the West, they believe that man is a body with a mind and soul in it. The emphasis here is on the body, while the Eastern view emphasis is the soul. I only come to remind you of this great truth. Each one of you is essential soul. You are not the bodies which you have identified yourselves. You are certainly souls. You are essentially souls. Each one of you is that Atma, the spirit that can never die. But alas, we identify ourselves with the bodies we wear, and therefore we do not live happily, healthy, and harmonious lives. Man is a combination of three: body, mind, and soul. And if he is to live a happy, healthy, and harmonious life, all of the three aspects of his being must cooperate with each other. They must not pull in different directions. They must not work against each other. We must find a way working out harmony between these three. If we are to live a life of fulfillment and freedom, a life which is worth living. Thanking you.